That's why I'm recording. All right, welcome to
Wait,
Cut the Sith
wait.
Reading
Wait,
Club, Episode 8. We are an unofficial Star Wars reading club for fans by fans. I am your host, as always, Colin McSorley, the patriarch of the Chiss Ascendancy. And today we will be discussing the first 8 chapters of Thrawn Ascendancy Chaos Rising by Timothy Zahn. And with me, as always, the rest of the Chiss Ascendancy. All right, you guys were having some very interesting conversations about the audiobook before we recorded, so continue. You don't need to introduce yourself, just continue.
Sorry about that. Didn't mean to
No, it's fine.
jumpstart things before
I
we
love
even
it.
recorded.
Love it.
But for the benefit of our audience, I will say that I had a little bit of a tough time understanding some parts of the audiobook. Nothing against Mark Thompson himself. He's a wonderful narrator. He does amazing voices. Pretty much every single voice he does, in my experience, is like spot on impersonation of the characters. But during those sections where Bekeith and Thrawn, for example, were examining the derelict spaceship and they were talking through their spacesuits and they had, all the filters and whatnot, it was a lot harder to understand the two of them during those conversations. Like I could feel myself straining a lot more, which is why I then switched to just reading it directly. But I don't know. It sounds like there was a little bit of agreement with the audiobook.
Yeah, which one of you guys
difficulty.
did the audiobook?
I did
I
it
did
too.
both, I guess.
I did it.
So it's just me and Yona that didn't?
I like reading.
I was doing it for the pronunciations because I had no idea how to say any of them.
Let me
Yeah.
tell
That
you.
is entirely fair.
There were words I thought I knew how to pronounce, and then I'm listening to YouTubers like, oh, that's not how I thought that was pronounced at all.
Like Sheila,
Yeah,
all that stuff.
Sheila.
I
is
didn't
not
like the
spelled
girl
the way it
voices.
sounds.
Especially,
I mean, he is a grown man doing their voices.
I know, but it's my first audiobook, so just
Ryan,
in mind.
what did you say to me about his 9-year-old girl voice? You
Sounds like Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh my
Close to
god.
it. Yep.
See? I was like, okay.
Listen,
But-
so I can't comment because I haven't listened to this one. I've listened to all the other Thrawn books that he's done and a bunch of other Star Wars books he's done. His Padme Amidala and his Leia Organa voices are delightful.
Okay.
I haven't heard them.
Well, I don't know about Arlani's voice. I don't think it.
Oh, I thought Dutch sounded like a stern German teacher or something to that effect. Just
Yeah,
right.
she did. But in the book, there was some passage that said in her soft voice, and I was like, this is not a soft voice.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that's just
No
from
way.
one paragraph, I think.
The just definition of soft, perhaps. Huh? I don't know.
But I do agree. I do agree with Steve, especially at that point. Even for me, who I say it all the time, I love the audiobooks. I don't know why they wouldn't have amplified that part. Like, I understand trying to mask it to make it seem like, you're right there with them and it's, you're listening to them talking through their suits, but I agree with you wholeheartedly. They could have turned up the volume on their actual words.
I mean, it probably didn't help that I was listening to it as I was driving to Target or whatever. So in addition to the
RJ.
noise from
Background
the book,
noise.
I'm just kind of like, what? Like between everything else that's on the road. So, Colin, that's a pretty sweet shirt you got there of our titular hero there. So cool, good stuff.
The man. I was originally gonna do this book on Audible. I had a pre-order like you did, Steve. And then when they announced the Barnes and Noble edition that came with a poster, I was like, oh, I want a sweet poster. So I canceled the Audible pre-order and used the credit on Dr. Afra, I think it was.
Yeah.
Either that or Sandman. I ended up pre-ordering both of them. And then I just bought the hard copy from Barnes and
Yeah.
Noble.
Gavin!
I got the
Oh,
sticker on it.
I got that.
A hard
and
copy is pretty
posters
sweet.
on my wall. The posters.
I love the
I
love the blue lining that they've got for the first edition prints too. That's pretty clutch.
Oh, and that's something too, which I don't think you would notice if you only did the Audible version. And I don't know if you can notice on the screen. It's kind of hard to look at. But if you look, the blue lining is different on the chapters than it is on the memories.
Is it really?
Yeah,
I
the
didn't notice
memories is thicker, and the memories also has these black hash marks in it.
Oh yeah, you know what? You're right. I didn't really
font.
notice that.
the font on the memories is a different size than
The font I did notice, yeah.
on the font on the chapters, and when you're doing the memories, they don't tell you the page numbers.
They jump out a lot
Yeah.
more when
So the
that
memories are stylized very different than the actual chapters in the book, and I thought that was pretty cool.
I appreciate that a lot. Yeah.
I wish they do
So,
more
you know what I
books
think?
like this.
What I was thinking, I don't know. For me, I was kind of lost these first 8 chapters.
There's a lot of information they throw at you at the start.
Yeah, maybe in the Discord we could get like and no, I'm not volunteering myself. I volunteer Colin. No, but maybe in the Discord we could get like a character roundup because I started going Thrawn. We've got Aliana, Samok.
Well, it's at the beginning of the book.
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
a dramatis personae thing at the very start of the book.
Well, I
But
missed
it
that, right?
is tough for me to keep like
It's
flipping
not
back.
all the characters, it's just like the most important
Yeah, the
ones.
biggest ones.
So like the main characters. So it doesn't have
It's got the
everyone.
9 ruling families. It's
Yeah.
got the family ranks in there too, and then it's got like a little glossary for some of the different vernacular that they
Yeah, I
throw
mean,
at you.
I need to
That
flip
helps.
back more to that, and I do have to reread a couple chapters, not because I just skimmed it over, but I was so lost. It felt like I was thrown into the middle of just a couple different things going on at once, and it was maybe just too much for my brain to handle.
It's a lot. And it's a lot of information and there's a lot of characters, and all of their names are really long and have a ton of like apostrophes.
Yeah.
But I got the hang
Did
of it.
Elon Musk name all
Yeah.
the characters in this book?
Let's
That was a
talk
good
about the
zinger,
book.
Steve. I give you props for that one.
Oh, thank you.
But
Sierra,
I
what were you
did-
gonna say? I cut you off. I'm sorry.
I was like, all right, so let's talk about the book.
Yes.
Isn't that what we've been doing the entire time?
Well, not literally the book.
You want to go into the plot of the book?
Yeah.
I need a plot breakdown of the first 8 chapters.
All right, who wants
Really?
to volunteer and do that?
I mean, no, I got a good amount of it, but I felt like some of it.
Listen, everybody. The only part of this that actually truly matters is Memories 4, the art gallery date.
Yes, it's true. That was the part of the book. I started messaging Colin about that the other day. He's like, that's the point that I was waiting for you to get to when we were
Yeah.
talking about it at Mando.
Yeah, for
the
anyone
other
that
day.
missed the Mando meeting, Yona, I said to Steve, I go, when you get to Memories 4, message me about it. And
Okay.
I knew Steve would love it, that's why, and he did.
I absolutely did. Thrawn just radiating that American Psycho Patrick Bateman energy. Just like, yes, this is such a lovely time. Like, let's just talk about art. And Aralani humoring him like, all right, we've come this far. Why don't we just make an evening out of it? And then the next sentence is like, she regretted giving him
Yeah.
that open invitation.
Her like inner monologues, like, please kill me. So long.
And then he gets all subdued and sad, and he's just kind of like, I
sad.
thought you would enjoy it. I'm sorry that I wasted your time. I was like, no, Thrawn.
When I was
No.
in college, the college IDs would get you into the Museum of Fine Arts for free. I'd go to the Museum
Yes.
of Fine Arts all the time. I loved it there. So I was like, Aralani,
Yeah.
you uncultured sycophant.
Oh gosh.
You leave Space Sherlock alone.
I mean, Space Bruce Lee is maybe the better adjective. That dojo scene, especially at the fact that he barely even moved. But I loved how he also took a chance at the very end of it. And there was a quote somewhere in my notes. I'll pull it out. But he used it as a teaching experience.
Mhm.
Like I do kind of like that aspect that you see kind of sprinkled throughout the whole thing.
But there was something where he was talking about. Hold on, I have my notes here somewhere. Was it Memories 4? I have them all broken up.
Everything's in Memories 4. Hello.
Yeah, it is. Well, because it specifically has
forget
to do with the
reading the
art
first-
gallery.
8 chapters. Just read Memories 4. That's really all.
When he
you-
says one can see in artwork the strength and weaknesses of the creatures who created it, that's true, because if you look at, I'm gonna shout out to my guy Alex here, ancient Greek art, and you can just see all their battle formations and everything. And then he looks at Aralani's her wired sculptures, and is easily able to deduce what her fighting style is just based on that.
It's true, but it's a talent to be able to like.
Oh yeah, I'm not
analyze
smart enough
and-
to do that.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes I go and like.
I liked going to the art museum because the pictures looked cool and they had some old stuff, but I had no idea what any of that meant.
on a
where I was
related
going.
tangent then, because I know,
Listen, this could be
Colin,
a
I know
long
you're
podcast if you want.
I know you're familiar with Thrawn from Rebels, Colin, and
I was about to ask about this.
a couple of other folks here, but for some of us here, this is their first like exposure proper to Thrawn. So I'm very curious to hear like what your first impressions of him are at this point.
I can go. I mean, so Thrawn, he didn't come from a prestigious family. It seems like there was someone scouting him prior to his interview.
Mm-hmm.
So he's highly gifted. Again, in this book, there's just so many highly intelligent people. In our previous books, everyone had sort of force powers, and things were kind of instinctual. And here, they go through what everyone's thinking, how they analyze things, and they like go beyond the surface. And I think that was really cool. I was like, oh, I never would have thought of that. And he's always seems one step ahead. The way he's so calm, which is, and I feel like he's not arrogant at all. He's very humble. He treats everyone pretty nicely. So that's what I think about him. And I also feel like, I don't know, he's just super smart. Right? Or no?
So there's something that the two of you just reminded me when you were talking about that. Timothy Zahn, the author, was interviewed about how he thought Rebels like did Thrawn, because he created Thrawn for the EU, which is no longer canon. And then I think when he's first brought into canon, was Rebels before the book in 2017?
Yes, the book in 2017 was like a tie-in to Rebels. Yeah.
So it was I think it's the season. It was either the season 3 finale or the finale of the show entirely. I forget if it was after season 3 or after season 4 that Timothy Zahn was asked on like a panel, I think Dragon Con, by the dude Alex who does the Star Wars Explained channel.
Mm-hmm.
He was asked how he thought they handled Thrawn in the show. And one of the things he said was, he goes, I liked how they handled his like intelligence, because Thrawn is somebody, and this is kind of just like, come on, Timothy. But Timothy says, Thrawn can only be defeated by things he cannot expect to happen. He can only be beaten by things that he can't predict. And when the times he gets defeated in Rebels, it's by stuff that he was no way able to predict was going to happen.
Or stuff that was out of his control too, because he would leave it in the hands of his subordinates, and then his subordinates would break orders, and then they would lose. He's very like, for lack of a better comparison, like David Xanatos from Gargoyles, kind of. Like, even when he loses in the show, he's still kind of like, well, we were still able to glean some very vital information from our enemies and whatnot. And I don't think when he goes after the rebels, I don't think there's any genuine malice or anything like that at all. Like, he seems to genuinely respect his opponents. He respects their strategies, and like he kind of lives for it a little bit, this dance that they do. So it's interesting to see his development in Chaos Rising kind of before he really has any adversaries per se, and before he gets mired up in like the politics of the Empire, kind of the politics that he's mired up in within his own home system.
I will say too, I kind of feel like they glossed over the fact that he wasn't like part of that family. Like, isn't it the first chapter when he gets adopted by the Myth family?
The first memory, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, and they like, and they speed up the process. It's sped up for him, and it's just like, it kind of just like glosses over the fact that he had a previous family, and he just leaves them to become part of one of the 9 ruling families.
I'm hoping they kind of go into that a little bit more in the future. Like, I don't know what happens then to the Kivu family, like if he still interacts with them in his day-to-day, or if he's just, that chapter's gone. Like, I don't know. I do agree with you, though. It is a little abrupt. I was
It
just
was
like,
like
okay.
when LeBron James left the Cleveland Cavaliers for the Miami Heat. I mean, the Kivus are just like nothing now. They lost their only
Yep.
stud, I assume.
Yep.
Looks of
Damn,
it.
imagine letting Thrawn get away. Or I'm sorry, Vaughn, whatever his name was with them.
Vuron. Yeah. Thrawn.
I mean, I truthfully, I think Steve brought up a great point that there regardless of what he's doing, there's never any hatred for behind any of it. You know, it's kind of strikes me like he's a chess master. And, you know, as much as he wants to win, like Steve even said, you know, he respects the enemy. If the enemy gives him a reason to respect him, he will. And, you know, in Rebels, for an example, quickly, you know, the Ghost crew was outsmarting him at some point. So he was like, huh, all right, maybe we need to give these guys some actual attention.
Yep.
He's too smart to hate. It's
Yeah.
kind of like in like the Jedi's try to like imbue on their child soldiers, where you don't want to let like emotions overtake you because
Mhm.
you need to think clearly and emotions cloud your judgment. Thrawn won't let emotions cloud his judgment.
Oh.
He's just gonna have he knows how to read the situation no matter how good or bad things are going.
Yeah,
I wanted to add to that. Oh, go ahead.
No, go.
Yeah.
When Glory, is it Glory that gets introduced? The Pathfinder?
Yes, the
One of
non-chiss.
those memories where he kind of goes into the history of the Ascendancy and their reputation, how they feel like they're not just they don't think they're the best race, but they think nothing is better than them. But then he meets Thrawn and was like, he wasn't so bad, you know. So he's clearly different from the Ascendancy. And to throw Yona in the conversation with, I have a question from the beginning, like the whole 9 ruling families. Are they all blue with red eyes?
I assume
I believe they are.
The
Yeah.
chiss, I think, are all
Families,
blue
are
with
they
red
the
eyes.
same
Yes. Yes.
physical? Okay, so it's just a name, sort of like, okay, because we go into alien species and things like that, and
Well, the Twi'leks are all different colored. Humans are all
Yeah.
different colored. So yeah, but
yeah,
I
so
think
I didn't know if they had different.
I think so. All the official art I've seen of like any chiss character is blue skin, red eyes. So I'm like 99% sure they all have that.
and
Yeah,
they're
I'm
like
pretty.
human looking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're all like humanoid. The only other granted official art of a like official Star Wars character I've seen was like Aralani, I want to say, and then everyone else has just been like original characters that I've seen in fan art. But I would assume so. Yeah, maybe
I
different shades of blue. Who knows?
I have a question for the group. Why do you think the Skywalkers lose their Force abilities by the time they're 14?
I was thinking about this.
That's a
actually.
good question.
You know, I'm not sure, but I thought it was I love the fact that they essentially brought the Force into it. But
The third sight.
yeah, I kind of noticed that it was the same thing with Kilori too. Is correct me if I'm wrong, but even with the Skywalkers, you know, they essentially need to completely cut out all their senses. You know, they need to essentially, you know, bring themselves into a state of sensory deprivation to reach, you know, like the third eye and all that type of stuff, which I thought it was kind of cool because it's like, yes, these people, at least to me, it's like, yes, these people can touch the Force in some way, shape, or form, but, you know, they need to essentially bring their bodies to an extreme to do that. So I thought that was kind of an interesting little fact about it.
And the Ascendancy, you know, we talk about the Jedi being baby nappers. The
Mhm.
Ascendancy basically take these kids and use them up like their batteries until
Yeah.
they're like depleted, and they're just like, all right, you're
Like
gone.
11.
Yeah. They use them up from like their times were like 5 to like 13 and then throw them out once they can't use the Force anymore.
It gave me very Snowpiercer vibes.
It's oh yeah, oh man, with the kids in the train.
Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert, by the way.
That's a good movie. So
But do they only have powers to navigate,
so
or is that
that's
just what their training is focused on?
yeah, I'm not sure because they're not because the one of the reasons too where I think that they might lose them. This ties into that is because they're not properly trained in it, and then they're basically used to do it to such extremes where they're getting headaches and passing out because they don't really know how to use it because there's no real proper training with it. It's basically just like, yeah, cut off all your senses and sense where the hell we're going, and they're getting like passed out and getting headaches. So I do think that they're like overusing it without knowing how to properly use it, and they're
Burning
just
themselves out.
just
Yeah.
burning themselves out.
I think it depends how
So
far
has
they're
anyone
going.
else? Sorry, Siri, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask, has anyone else read the original Thrawn books? Because I've read, it's just been forever. And to go even further back, I do like Thrawn, but I feel like I haven't got enough of his character yet, even though we're all about him in the first 8 chapters. I felt like the piece that stuck out the most for me character-wise outside of the museum sequence was him accepting the ring, where I thought he was maybe going to chop these people down and take the ring and be like, bye. But no, I was surprised that he actually responded with, I will make sure that this, this artifact essentially will get the proper respect it deserves.
Yes.
And that was the one of all the chapters, that little sequence I felt like stuck out the most for me in terms of his character and respecting him. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was an absolutely great scene, and especially it shows he was like, well, we're art collectors, excuse us, we didn't know, we thought it was abandoned.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're 1,000% right. It shows the level of respect and care that Thrawn shows, just on a day-to-day. Enough that Prakash.
I can't remember the name. Yeah.
It's like something like that.
Yeah, I remember that specific one was part of the subgroup, part of like a subgroup or a subfamily of them, and I just loved that entire aspect of.
It was the Maroxa clan of the
I would not remember that.
I don't know if I pronounced those correctly, but
Prakash definitely did.
it's something.
We're not
You're gonna
judging
get all
here.
these people in the comments just like, actually.
I mean, I have in my note here, General Yiv is the leader of the Nikerdun Ungai. No, I didn't pronounce any of
Nick
these words.
Cardoon.
Thank you.
The Nick Cardoon.
It's
So
just so many words.
another interesting thing that I thought was really neat was just that, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we've actually seen any prose or any narrative from Thrawn's perspective. It's always been everyone else in his periphery looking at
Yes.
Thrawn and observing what's happening with them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that makes him all the more compelling and mysterious, honestly.
Yes. And there's also 2 versions of him. There's people that are trying to take him down, definitely hate him, don't know why, for I don't know why.
Game of
And
Thrones.
then there's Thalia, who's following him, like wanting to reconnect with him since their history. And then there's Arlani, who also, I need to ask what happened. She was formerly irresistible, and now she's not.
Yeah,
Family?
she was one point part of a family, but essentially in the Chiss world, they have a big separation between the military. I look at it like there's a separation between the military and political families.
She chose. Did she choose it? Because she's blood relation to that family.
Yeah, I think.
She's an admiral, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Admiral Arlani. Yeah.
So they kept going back with her 2 names. So it's either Admiral Arlani or
Ziara.
Ziara.
Yeah,
Ziara was the one in the memories.
Yeah, that was her
And-
original core name.
And
Mhm.
she would always defend him, like
Mm,
always had his back. In General Bob,
Keith.
he
Steve.
was always there for Thrawn. So there's 2 sides, like Team Thrawn and just take him down, Thrawn.
Team Thrawn on the wrong team.
True.
I mean, you don't want to get on Thrawn's bad side. They're all just jealous because Thrawn's
The
better than them in
pettiest little
everything.
shit, and they'll bring him to court and be like, "You did this," and it's like,
Yeah, like when he dominated that flight simulator, and they just thought it was like, well,
Cheating.
you're too good at this, so you clearly cheated. There was the only reason. It's like
How do you defend yourself?
there was no proof he cheated, but it's like, oh, you're too good. You You were too good at it, so it had to be cheating. Oh, and because we like destroyed the simulation, we can't recreate it, so there's no evidence. So we're just gonna assume you cheated, unless you go and do it live in a firefight. And he's like, "Fuck it, let's do it."
There's also the scene at the very beginning, the Memories 2, I want to say, with Talius as a kid, where he interacts with her father, and her father's not very nice to him, and he's just like making all these different observations about the ship, and the father, after he leaves, is just like, wow, it took me maybe like 15, 16 voyages to get all that. This is his first time like on an interstellar voyage, and he's
Started
picking up all
spinning
this
him.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
He had great sense for the ship's rhythms.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen.
But that was when the dude that gave him the ring, when they came in, because they hold their women in high esteem. So originally he's standing in front of, was it Arlani or Talius? Who was with?
Talius was the one that he.
Okay, so he's originally standing in front of Talius, and then he switches behind to her, and they're like, "Oh, do you not hold you're hiding behind your woman?" He goes, "No, I'm protecting her from the dudes that you had to sneak in the back." And she's like, "How'd you know this?" Like, I felt the air change. I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
You felt the shift in air and knew people were sneaking up behind you?
Hey, listen, that's situational awareness, all right? That's some serious situational awareness.
Someone could have just farted.
Hey, give them a little bit more respect than that.
I mean, he's legitimately Sherlock Holmes.
He is, though.
He sees and feels everything.
I think he's more than Sherlock Holmes. I'm gonna be real with you.
You never watched Sherlock on BBC, which is the greatest show of all time.
No, but I've read some of the books.
Yeah, no one cares about book Sherlock Holmes. Everyone cares about Benedict Cumberbatch, whatever his name is.
Hey guys, I have a question about Wootro. So she's like,
you gotta spell it for me. How half these names.
Wootro, Wutro.
Arlani's number 2.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was her number 1. No.
Well, yeah,
like her right hand person. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
So the way her name is spelled, so they have like whatever family you're from, your name in the middle, and then the ending. She's not part of the 9 families. Isn't that weird? Well, I don't think she is. Is she? WU isn't really one of the 9 families.
Does she have a family name? Or did she leave one like Arlani did?
She had a family name because Arlani was saying it must be nice to have a family name still or something. Yeah,
I assume there's a lot.
Yeah, she is part of a family. Or am I mistaking her with someone else? Somebody gave Thrawn information during one of those battles. Yeah, okay, so no, she is part of a family still because one of those family members fed her that information.
Yeah, someone knew that Thrawn was going to come and they were ready to attack.
Yeah.
Because they're like, we're going to destroy you.
Already there.
Yeah. So where's she from? Like, how did she, do they stick to their families only, or?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
They didn't really go into it too much about her. The only real thing that I think they gave about it is just that she is part of a family, and that's how she got that information.
Yeah, because I had to keep flipping back and forth with because they are the ascendancy, right? But they all work together as well. It's not, you're not just going to see the myth with the myth. They kind of like are, what's it called? Intertwined, So I'm like, are they one or are they not? Because then there's the family politics where they want, it gets kind of personal and like UFSA, they have their own motives, kind of. They don't seem to be one.
Speaking of family politics, why did Thrawn's family
I can't talk.
adopt him if they just straight up hate him?
Maybe they resent the fact that this kid became a merit adoptive with relatively no struggle. Maybe they resent him to a degree.
Yeah, because every time they have one of these tribunals or something, they're like, it's not like proper procedure for his like family not to be here, and like they don't show up. They don't show up.
Bunch of deadbeats.
So
it's like, why'd you bring the guy into your family if you're just not gonna have his back at all? Jeez.
They also kind of allude to, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they allude to at one point that before this book something had happened or am I kind of mistaken about that? It
Yeah, it was
seems
To the
like
to the myth in
the-
general.
It was the Bagari pirate incident.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was covered. Yeah.
That
Yeah,
happened.
someone died. One of the syndics died. Just a political.
I was gonna say, I'm assuming after that it's kind of like, regardless of how smart you are and everything, listen, but at the end of the day, you're still adopted. You know,
I think the family
sit
politics. Yeah, the family politics play a role in his like military achievements and success.
Absolutely.
And what's interesting is on page 22, the only thing I wrote down is that it says, as usual, Thrawn only saw the surface situation and completely missed the political subtleties. But we see what Thrawn can do. We see how his mind works, how detailed he is, and he thinks of every single kind of option, or and then he doesn't see that.
It's go ahead, Alex. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, before you brought that up, I was gonna also bring that up, because I do love that they seemingly all the time with Thrawn inherently bring that up as his issue. It's like, for as analytical as he is, for as much as he can deduce about a person from the smell of their farts, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
It's like political games he just really doesn't get. Or maybe it's that he doesn't. I don't think that he thinks he's above it or anything. Maybe I was gonna say human interaction, but maybe just that person-to-person interaction just doesn't necessarily go over his head. And I don't think lying he doesn't understand or can't detect. But I like that they kind of do give him a handicap almost in that, because they do bring it up quite a few times. It's like, he really doesn't get politics by like any mean.
Part of me wonders if he just doesn't care. Like, if he's aware that there will be, ripples within the aristocracy and whatnot, but just doesn't care because all he cares about are
Not
results.
important to him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, you there?
Yes,
Say something.
something.
What do you think about the book so far?
It's very good. It's confusing. And at times, I continue to think they're just sitting around in a room on their spaceship talking. That's how it felt listening to the audiobook.
Yeah, there is a lot of spaceship talk.
Like Seinfeld in space.
But yeah, I thought it was, I think it's pretty good so far. Thrawn's voice is fantastic in the audiobook.
I'm gonna have to
Thank
check
you.
out
Finally,
the voice
someone
out.
says it.
He does a really good job.
haven't
He needs
listened
to
to the
work. He
audiobook,
needs
I
to
just
work on
assumed
his
this.
female voices, though.
Yeah, I
Let's
agree.
I agree.
I think it might be hard being like a full-grown man having a voice like 9-year-old girls.
I know, but
Auto-tune that man or something.
I'm itching to ask this. Does Thrawn die in Rebels?
I can
Or
spoil.
can you not say that?
spoil it.
You want me to spoil it?
Just text
I'll
him.
spoil it. I don't give a fuck.
Text
I'm
him.
curious.
I'll text
that's
him. I'll
awful.
text him right now.
So, in
Text
the
him the
old
video, though.
books,
The
Say
video.
that
Yeah,
again?
I'll text you the video of the end of Rebels.
in the old books, they kind of ripped the story of the original Thrawn stuff and threw it into the Rise of the Skywalker. I had to go back and really quick. I looked at the wiki for it. It's pretty damn similar.
There was no clone of Luke.
Well, there's no that, but Thrawn in the original book stuff has this remaining Empire fleet and is planning to fight, Luke, Leia, Han. Anyway, yeah. I'm curious to see if he's dead in Rebels. That's a bummer because I'd love to know if he has some kind of further thing past that. But yeah,
Mhm.
I'm
gonna
okay
send-
being spoiled.
I'm gonna send you the video from Rebels. After you
Okay.
watch it, if you're still confused, I can explain to you what happened.
I just
I'm
finished
watching
Rebels
now,
over the
but
weekend,
yeah,
by the way.
check
It was
it
real
out.
great. It was real great. Would recommend. Clone Wars is still my jam, but Rebels was also.
You gotta watch Clone Wars first, then Rebels.
I will watch that.
So, who's everybody's favorite character thus far?
Hard
Thrawn
mode.
Yoda.
Thrawn.
All right. Okay, fine. With the exception of Thrawn, who is everybody loving?
Admiral
Arlani.
Arlani.
The narrator
right,
of the
Sierra.
audiobook.
Good answer.
My Chiss Queen.
Yeah.
I'd put Arlani up there on my list at this point too. Apart from Thrawn, if I could pick Thrawn would be my favorite.
Character that had to find, he was threatened and he was like, "Oh God, I'm about to die." The guy says, "Get his last name or get his full name."
Yeah.
I want to hear more about him. Sounds like he's gonna get it.
He's shady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have
yes.
him in the dramatis persona at the beginning of the book.
Mm.
In parentheses next to him, it says non-Chiss.
What species is he?
I have no idea. I just know he's
I
not
don't
a
know,
Chiss.
but is a winglet a mask or is it part of his
No,
face?
it's like, oh, I
Like it
kind of,
flaps.
seems
It
like-
is part of his face. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's what I was picturing, but I'm like, what if I'm so wrong?
I
no,
bet he's a hideous looking dude.
1000%. But I did like, speaking of that, I did like that they introduced like another guild, especially us, because most of us do Mando anyways. I do like that they kind of expanded on, you know, the unions of this world,
Yeah. It's cool.
and that they all hate the Chiss, clearly.
I have a question about the Spring Hawk.
The
When
greatest
he
ship of all
lost
time.
command over it, how soon was it when he got it back?
It was like the next page, wasn't it?
He was just like, they'll get over it. They're not mad
That was
anymore.
pretty quick.
And
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that was easy.
And
Isn't that
they just
funny?
demoted everyone. Like the captain of the Spring Hawk became his first command. The first command dropped down to like second command. They just pushed everyone down.
Yeah.
I love Sarmacro. I was gonna say he's been my favorite because he reminds me of Vanto, and I feel like he's going to be the Vanto of all of this.
He's a
Must be
good ride or
like
die
that.
type subordinate, I think.
It's like at first he was all cold and mean, like what the fuck is this asshole? And now, you know, he's at the point where you guys better shut up and just listen.
He knows
to
what
him.
he's
Yeah, no,
talking.
I like that part where one of the subordinates was like trying to talk smack about Thrawn when Thrawn wasn't around, or like brought something up about like his mental faculties, and Samacro was like, "Listen, that's not your place. That's real inappropriate. You better cut that talk out right now."
Yeah, wasn't he talking
Yep.
about just like sabotaging the mission to make Thrawn look bad?
Mm-hmm.
That was Coral, whatever. But I think with the mental thing, it was someone name began with a D, like Darla. It was a girl. I think.
Oh.
So many people.
Something like
Something
that.
like that.
So
They
Steve,
all sound the same. Yeah, that's
Yes.
it.
I'm gonna ask you a question
All right.
because you sent me a message earlier of different things you wanted to talk about, and we haven't actually talked about the attitude of the two Skywalkers in comparison to each other.
Yeah. So about how Cherry, I suppose, had you know, perceived herself to be a little bit more mature than the other one whose name I'm blanking on right now, but it starts with an A.
Big.
Oh, well, I got it in my notes somewhere. Oh,
I swear to God, I'll start taking notes someday, Colin. I just keep them all here.
Listen, this was a hard one to take notes on because I couldn't. My spell check hated me.
real quick, does everyone remember what chapter that was?
If this was a hard one for us to take notes on,
I just
imagine
had
how
it
hard
up
it is to
here.
just keep it all up here.
Almost like Agbe or something like that.
Hold
'Cause I did make a little note because I loved that other Skywalker's caregiver.
Chapter 5, I think it is.
When
Sorry,
I
everybody.
think it's time to learn, it's time to learn. Love that chick. Hey,
Her name was also with an A.
Abeg, yeah.
I think, yeah.
Her momish was kind of a whew.
But
Little
damn, they
bit
have a
strict
real
with
big
Vegas.
responsibility.
What is the big responsibility? Make
No,
sure these
not the
kids don't have like
momish.
headaches and die.
Listen, they
I
like
mean, yeah,
they
kind
have
of.
to navigate through space, right? And
Yeah,
then right
that's
after it's like
impossible.
they can't make a sandwich. You know, they can't go. They can't shower themselves. It's okay. I'm depleted. It's kind of sad.
And they still
No?
have like all the like insecurities of children because they are children.
Because
Like
they
when
feel like they're not worthy. That's what
when
Thalia
Cherry
keeps
was
bringing back.
when Cherry was gonna like pass out because they were in that like 4-star system,
Mhm.
and Thrawn was like, "That's fine. We could take a break till you recover." And she's like, she like thought Thrawn hated her because of it. I was like, no,
Yeah.
this is just a hard system to navigate. Relax, kid.
Kind of
So-
interesting though. Sorry.
No,
Okay.
you got it. Go
Just to put like a child's perspective in the book. I don't know.
Child soldiers.
It was interesting how she thought she was so much more mature than Abeg, even though they were only like a year apart in age.
She didn't
feel
want to like share a bedroom with her, or was it share a bed?
Share the bed with her, yeah.
He's like, no, that's for babies. No, I'm not doing that.
It's like, relax, kid.
But I mean, keeping on that note, they were a bit different too. You know, it seems like Cheery at the end of the day, like this is a painfully anxiety-ridden child who they put in the sensory deprivation tank all the goddamn time, make work as hard as she poor girl has to touch the Force, and then all she gets to do is navigate. It's like you don't even get to, you know, maybe she doesn't even understand. Maybe none of them understand the extent that some of these children may have been able to use the Force with. But even Macro said it in his talk with Talius. He was, everyone was so shocked that a former Skywalker would come back in the first place. You know, most of them tuck tail. Well, not necessarily tuck tail, but, you know, they hightail out of there as soon as they get the opportunity to. So I did kind of like that aspect that they added in, and they do kind of show all the anxieties and like the nightmares and the insecurities that she's going through.
I got a question for
You go first,
Yona.
Steve.
Actually, I got a question for Yona because you read the original Thrawn trilogy.
It's been a while, but yeah.
All this stuff about Skywalkers, do you think that it's comparable to battle meditation? Because that's a concept, I believe, that was introduced in the original Thrawn trilogy.
I'd have to go back and read, but from what I can remember, yes, for sure. Yeah. I mean, you know, the other thing I was also thinking about with these kids, it's like the opposite of a Jedi, as in if one of them were to become a Jedi, it's too late, as in they wouldn't accept a 14-year-old, but by the time these people are 14 or these kids are 14, they're out the door. I don't know. And I do at this point want to go back now to read the original Thrawn. Like
I'm on the third one right now on the audiobook.
It's good stuff. It was good for what it was.
It's solid, yeah.
There was something I was thinking of too, and I totally forgot what I was gonna say.
I'm sorry, Colin, I broke
No,
your
it's fine. Alex, what were you talking about?
When I was talking about how especially Sir Macro thought it was weird that like Talius would come back and like
Yeah, so that was my question. They don't explain why the former Skywalkers stopped being caregivers, right? They just said like they used to be caregivers, now they're not. And I wonder if they're gonna tell us why, like the Skywalker, because they thought it was weird that she came back, even though they used to be them, like it was like 100 years ago or something.
Yeah, there was a big gap of time. Yeah. I don't remember it exactly, but yeah, I think that whole aspect, like it's kind of cool. And, you know, especially because when we first saw Talius, she was essentially, I mean, she was in a worse off position, as we find out more so down the road than Cheery is. But I do like that even right off the rip, the first thing we're getting off these Skywalkers is like, look at these horribly, you know, anxiety-ridden children. Like, Jesus Christ.
They're just getting fucking intense migraines and shit. It's like, dude, they all Star Wars is. I just made a Facebook status about it. All Star Wars is different factions of child soldiers warring over hyperspace lanes.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. I mean, a good logical argument could be made for that.
They use these girls up like that, and also the Skywalkers are only female, so can only female Chiss get the Force?
I have no idea. Was that stated in any of the chapters?
It's not stated that they're only female, I think, but I'm pretty sure every Skywalker we've come in contact with has been female.
They introduced the concept of the Skywalker in another one of the Disney Thrawn books, Thrawn Alliances, I want to say.
Anakin?
Yeah, the one with Anakin is when they first introduced the concept. And I believe they indicated that it was only female, but I'm not 100% on that. It's been a couple years since I've read that.
Because that was the one with Thrawn was like, he just found it funny that Anakin's last name was Skywalker.
Yeah.
He's like, eh.
So what's the difference between a Skywalker and a Pathfinder?
The Pathfinders, I think it's just like their job. I don't think they have the Force. I think that's just like
No,
navigate.
but they go into like, what's it called?
The sensory
Alex.
deprivation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they also, yeah, you're right. They also go into the sensory deprivation. So I'm not sure.
I think they're just
They're
not
adults.
Chiss, maybe, because Kalori's not a Chiss.
No, yeah, he's something different.
So
Who
it could
knows
just be
what
they're just not
Kalori
the
is?
Chiss.
Okay.
And I do think it's badass that they call the unknown regions the chaos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool name. And I also
Mhm.
made sure I jotted down a little note about it before I have to go grab my laptop charger very quickly. Is I love the fact. Oh, don't look at me like that.
I'm plugged in all the time.
Is I love the fact that there's such a massive amount of planets and species that even the Chiss don't know or recognize.
Mhm.
Well, they really do put a realistic spectrum now on how big the unknown regions of space actually is. And I thought that was a great addition to everything else.
Chiss come in contact with the Jedi? Do we know that?
I'm not aware.
Because the Jedi
Yeah.
don't travel out to the unknown regions that much.
Mm.
Yeah, I was gonna say very rarely do they, but they don't explicitly say that they haven't come in contact with them, at
And I
least
know
in this book.
in canon, I don't think there have been any Chiss Jedi.
I wonder too if perhaps maybe the Sith might have come into contact with them because Exegol, I want to say, was located out in the unknown regions, right?
It is, I think,
Well,
yeah, it
Well,
is.
they have because they bring it up
I
that
mentioned the wars.
yeah, they mentioned the wars between the Chiss and the Sith at one point, which is pretty bitchin'.
That's
Yeah.
metal. Yeah.
That has to be like another trilogy Timothy Zahn writes.
Yeah,
If you're getting my Chiss Sith war books.
I want to see. I want to see one of Thrawn's great ancestors fighting a Sith. Okay, that's
Please.
just. I don't
I
even
would
care if it's low
love that.
level. I want that.
Kivu something.
So guys, what did the myth that approved Thalia, is it Thalia or Talia?
I don't see
I think it's Thalia's, right? Well, what favor did he ask for her? From her? Of her?
Oh yeah, maybe that hasn't been specified yet. I'm not.
Hasn't it? I was kind of
Yeah,
wondering.
not directly, but it kind of seems like they want her to, or at least everybody else is making it seem that the Thalia's taking that job is, and Sarmacro brings it up too. Is this is essentially just the aristocra and the 9 families just doing another thing to interfere with military, another reason to politicize the military. So I'm going to assume that it's not necessarily more so for that as it is. I'm going to go ahead and assume to keep eyes on Thrawn.
That was my assumption. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like get close to him. Work those big red eyes a little bit.
They're family.
Family
Yeah,
doesn't
well-
seem to mean much to the Chiss outside of just political leverage.
The family means about as much to them as it did to the Lannisters. So
Yeah, it's really just all about politics, these people.
Only instead of the different kingdoms within Westeros, you got everybody's just Lannisters here.
yeah, everybody's super smart and cunning.
Yeah.
Like your family's only as good for what they can do for you. I mean,
Yeah.
hell, I mean they're all jumping to different families the second chance they get to go to a better one. I feel bad for the Kivus. I want a nice little side story on them. Life after Thrawn. Must be
I wonder if he still comes over for Sunday brunch every once in a while.
Oh, and that's when you leave your family, are you shunned from them? Because Aralani doesn't make eye contact with the Areezes at all.
Sounds like they
What
left on less than
happened? I'm
favorable
really
terms.
curious.
Because I would assume if someone like the Myth came to Thrawn's family and they were like, listen, we've been watching little Thrawny here from a distance and we kind of want to pick him up for our team. I feel like that may be an honor,
Right,
especially
two
with
first
how
round picks.
Yeah, like especially because obviously stratification is very ingrained in Chiss culture. You know, like there are steps, there are tribunals, there are tests to even move from, rank 0 to rank 1.
Like, Thrawn is still a myth. Hey, sorry, my niece is in my room.
That's just on a cliffhanger.
Thrawn is still a myth in his name, and Arlani changed up her name completely. And
Yeah, I think it was an
I don't get it.
option. I think she could have kept the family name if she wanted to. I think she had the choice to drop it and just chose to drop it.
Really?
That's what I'm thinking because
She strikes me as the kind of. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Colin.
there's other people in like the military in those positions that still have their family names.
Like Samakra has his full name.
Yeah, so she just chose to drop her name like the second she was given the option.
General Block doesn't have a
Keith?
family.
Steve.
I'm looking at his name. That's how I'm trying to remember the name. But he doesn't have a family name. I don't know where he's originally from.
I got a question too.
It doesn't even say his family relation on the tip with the cheat sheet.
He might have dropped his too.
General
I know-
Block doesn't say anything.
I know we haven't like seen much of them yet because we're only at the first 8 chapters. Does anyone actually give a shit about General Yiv and the Nakardarn or whatever? Or
Cardoon.
Nikardan?
I'm just here for Thrawn. I'm just
Yeah.
here for his mental chess gymnastics.
I'm here for Thrawn. I'm here for the Chiss infight and the backstage politics, the family stabbing each other in the back. This second-rate wannabe like conqueror of the Chaos realm. Please.
I don't like
Very
how
Warhammer
The
40K. if you're
second
calling.
Thrawn decides to set his sights on this man, he is gonna outmaneuver him faster than I outmaneuvered one Darren Jesse Braz in a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I beat him in 3 turns.
Incredible.
But didn't they steal his plan? Like how they stole the ship? They tried to do the same thing to
Yeah.
Thrawn. Thrawn
They,
wouldn't know.
They
It's his
invited that
plan.
guy, was it like Ilpark of Uruk or whatever his name was?
Yeah.
They
He's
invited
basically
used
he's
him
trying
as
to do what I
Blake.
did to them.
Yeah, they used him as bait to try and steal a Chiss ship, and directly after Thrawn stole one of their ships, and Thrawn's like, no,
Like
this
the
isn't
same
working.
way
It's not gonna
too.
work. And he knew it was a trap essentially too. Like he was also kind of counting on it.
Mm-hmm.
But also I love how I loved the diplomat. I forget his name now. Yes. But I loved that diplomat, how essentially they used the whole Thrawn and Arlani used that whole endeavor to essentially get Thrawn to be able to get in there and actually proceed forward with what he wanted to do. I just love that he's sitting there and he's like, no, we're going to go there and I'm going to demand an answer. It's like, really, dude? If Thrawn and Arlani weren't here, you would have been blown the fuck up. Like, let's be honest with each other now. That guy was not one of the smarter chests.
Yeah, that's where we left off, right? That was the end of chapter 8, where he's like, "I'm going to go demand an answer." So I do want to see how that happened.
Turns out
Yeah, I want to see how that shakes out.
This man ain't demanding shit.
Yellow is sus.
What happened to Ryan?
Oh
He was
my God,
doing his
Among
task
Us,
in
huh?
medical. He was doing his task in medical 1 second, and now he's not chatting anymore.
Steve has a
He's
yellow
playing
hoodie
Among
on.
Us.
Just saying.
I can't. I'm dead. I can't
I'm not
talk.
I'm not the imposter, guys. Come on. I was doing my task talking about book club.
Let's all vote Steve out.
If you kick me out, you're gonna have to end the recording because you can't invite me back in.
I mean, we could just continue without you.
That would be really rude, and I would be sad. So don't do that.
It does stink that I can't invite people.
Don't
after
call my
kicking them
bluff.
out. Well, when he originally made that his picture, I wanted to report Ryan, but I was afraid that would like kick him out. We wouldn't be able to bring him back. But now he's dead, so rest in peace. You can't talk, you're dead.
Did you mute him?
I'm a
Oh.
ghost.
He just went.
Thrawn is sus. Thrawn is not sus. That is just mean.
Believe me, Thrawn wins in Among Us every single time.
Absolutely. He would outmaneuver everybody without question.
He doesn't even need to move. He knows who it is the minute the round starts. He can feel it in the air.
He studied the artwork of the game very extensively.
So where do you guys think What do you guys think is next? What do you guys or a better question, what do you hope is coming next?
I'm wondering because Sierra actually brought this up earlier with the naming structure and the nomenclature. At this point, Thrawn is still Myth Thrawn Nu Yuru, right? Myth Thrawn Nu Yuru?
Yeah. He doesn't have the Odo yet.
He doesn't have the full name, which is Myth Thrawn Nu Yorodo. So I'm wondering where that would come into play, if that might have something to do with a promotion or some sort of merit adoptive type deal. I'm curious to know about where the rest of his name comes into play, and I'm wondering if that'll come up either by the end of this book or at some point within the next 8 chapters. Who knows?
Sweet gaming chair, Sierra.
It's my son's.
I just want to see more of Thrawn just outsmarting people, because every chapter is just people doing things and then Thrawn just doing things better than them.
Yes. I mean, I'm happy to read that.
Not a lot.
What I want is more of that tactical genius sort of commanding spaceships that he eventually is known for. We need more of that. Especially because in the audiobook, they actually add the space battle sounds.
Yep. I love the Star Wars audiobooks. They're great. They always add the sound effects and the
I
music.
did like that.
Listen, not to be awful, but it's about that time to plug Audible.
We don't have a sponsor. We're not plugging anybody.
One day
Like
they'll
a fucking
sponsor
nobody.
us.
We're kind of already doing that.
Brought to you by
in a roundabout way.
Gatorade.
Brought to you by White Claw.
You
We're
basic-
doing this now.
I have Purell, so
Brought to you by
Brought to you by
Among
Purell.
Us.
But I kind of feel Ryan. I was kind of I like that at the part where you first where Thrawn and Thalia were at the mine. I did like the fact that Thrawn Talius was kind of thinking, and Thrawn was also making it kind of known, like, listen, we may need to kill these people. It will be bad. It will not feel that great. You'll get used to it. It's okay. But I agree with Ryan. I would like to see a little bit more bloodthirst. You know, nothing horrid and malicious, but
Yeah.
we need to see his rise to Grand Admiral.
Yes.
That is gonna take a while because I know when that happens.
Guys, did you mention if Thrawn remembers Thalia? Because he seems pretty close with her, but does he remember the incident?
So
Yeah, his first ride on the. I don't think they ever covered it.
on the
not
one
clear.
hand, I want to be like no because it's so insignificant in his life, but on the other hand, I want to feel like he has an eidetic memory and remembers everything.
I feel like
but
the
she's
latter.
so
yeah.
obsessed. She's like,
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
she only
wouldn't
met
you
him
be
that
if you met
once.
Thrawn?
here, Cherry,
would.
read all of his books. Look at all of his accomplishments. He's amazing.
I mean, I've read all of his books and have looked at all his accomplishments.
I'm just
and
wondering.
he is amazing.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. I
But-
just I do want more either chapters or memories like the art gallery where it shows him using his detective Batman skills.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Because that's the one thing I never liked about the Batman movies is they were very little about his detective abilities.
Yeah, it's just fighting.
Yeah, it's kind of just assumed.
I need
Oh.
Thrawn to go full detective mode. I mean, the man is able to perfectly counter an expert fighter's fighting style based on just looking at like wire crafting she made. I need to see more of that. He can look at the deceased aliens' clothing and determine that they hold their females in like high esteem. And it's just like
Yeah.
I need more of that.
Taskmaster stuff right there.
Yeah, I need him just like to do some things just looking at like, oh, this man had like 3 slices of pepperoni on that 1 slice of pizza. So, you know, if I hit him in like the rib cage, I think this will give him like a heart attack. I'm like, all right, Thrawn. That's my
So
guy.
smart. He's so damn smart.
I wish I was smart.
Me too.
And the thing is too, like when writing characters that are intelligent, like it's such a trap that a lot of authors fall into, is trying to write characters that are smarter than they are. And I don't really feel like Zahn runs into that issue with Thrawn at all. I feel like he conveys the character like very, very well.
That feels completely
Because
organic.
he's also smarter than I am as well.
It's true. He's a very smart man.
Thanks, Steve.
I
Thanks for having
didn't
my
mean
back
that as
on
an
that
insult.
one.
That didn't. That came out wrong. You know what I meant.
I mean, there's a lot of people on the planet smarter than Colin. There's
Honestly,
7 billion of us. If I'm not dead last, I'm happy with that.
That's true. That's true, baby.
I want to be in the top 6 billion.
Balls.
What the fuck is that, Yona?
But
That thing's
Kombucha?
huge.
Vodka. No, it's just a water bottle.
Oh, it looks like kombucha.
Just a water bottle.
I feel like I would like to hear Thrawn's inner monologue. You know,
Yeah.
especially when he's breaking down things like, listen, I'll take an entire chapter of an inner monologue of him of just one single thought. Like, I don't care.
Ooh, either read or listened to not the original Thrawn trilogy from the 90s, but like the first Disney trilogy that was like in 2017.
I only did Thrawn. I didn't do
Steve,
two
did you?
with Anakin or Vader.
The original Thrawn trilogy?
Not the one of the 90s, but the first Disney one.
I've only read the first 2 books. I haven't
Were
read
they any
Treason
good?
yet.
So I think it's in the first one, but he just like breaks down people based on like the sweat like falling off their head and just like describes in detail like
It's
how fast their hearts
extremely
are beating.
Sherlock. It is extremely Sherlock. Like, you know, you'll have the prose and whatnot, and then in italics you'll have Thrawn picking up on all these little minuscule details, like, you know, his brow furrows. You can see beads of sweat dripping down his forehead. You can see some color in his face start to flare up. Like all this stuff, just different observations and reactions that he's able to gauge just based on what he says and does.
Hoping we see some of that in this because we haven't seen any of that yet.
I've been looking forward to that because that was my favorite thing about the
Dude,
first
that's
Thrawn.
that's the best part of the audiobooks because when Mark Thompson starts doing that in Thrawn's voice, it's like straight up Thrawn ASMR. I was like
Yes.
melting in my chair at work. I was like, oh baby,
I'm curious now.
oh man, it's good.
Does the artwork
It's
actually exist? We should pull it up and see what you guys, we all interpret the drawings.
I hope it's the dark saber.
Does it exist?
I don't know,
No.
but it's lost. Is it? No, that was the excuse, right? That they were looking for lost and forgotten art because they like knew that species liked art.
Yeah.
He goes on that whole speech. You know, he makes that little speech about how, you know, culture shouldn't be forgotten and all that type of stuff.
It's a good lie when it's things you actually believe because Thrawn definitely loves art and believes that too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, he's so cool.
Those aren't.
I mean, it's hard. It's just like, listen, he might miss the little nuances of being a politico or you know, humanoid to humanoid interactions or species to species interactions to a very minute degree, but I think all in all we can agree that Thrawn is the alpha and omega of Star Wars today.
Do you think Thrawn gets to the point where he's talking to someone and he knows they're lying to him, but just because he can tell by like the stuff going on, but if it's like a white lie, he just doesn't bring it up and doesn't care?
Yeah, I've seen that happen in alliances. So
Yeah, where he's just like, yeah.
What do you think drives him though? Because most people want power, right? Prestige. They want to go up the rankings. What do you think he wants?
That's a good question, Sierra.
I think he wants the Chiss Ascendancy to be the very best, like no one ever was.
Okay.
you know, what were you gonna say?
Oh, sorry. Were you asking me?
Yeah.
No, I honestly don't know what his motivation is at the moment. You know, as like being brought into this family from a no-name family, and he's just not jack of all trades, but like this master tactician. So motivation wise, I don't know what's, pushing him from, what's keeping him from even backstabbing the whole, his whole group. I don't know. I don't know what his motivation is.
I have a question. So, Thrawn, the myth approached him, right? Like they wanted him, or
Yeah.
did he like request to go to him? Like, because Talia's requested the myth family.
The myth went for him. I think they poached him pretty early on.
Yeah, so I want to know how often it is for someone to just like pick their own family, like how Talia's was like, well, I want to be part of Thrawn's family, so let's just make that shit happen.
No, I'm not sure. They don't really allude to that at all. The only thing they made it known is that, like Steve said, they clearly had an eye on Thrawn from a very early age, and even the tribunal and the interviews and all that, those were merely like formalities, just to make it seem to the other families like they hadn't been looking at this guy as hard as they had been looking at him.
I wonder if you have to like compete with other families. Like, what if another family besides the myth wanted Thrawn? They have to like outbid each other. Could Thrawn just pick which one he wants to go to?
Another thing is they have like a rubric or something of what positions need to be filled every year. So it's like, sorry, the myth family's full. You have to go here. I don't know. Because in that case, I think General Ba, whatever, he's like, I have 2 positions to fill within the year. If we don't get them now, who knows? So.
That's true. They do kind of make it seem like the draft.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, like clock's crunching down, guys. We got to get it in. We got to get it in.
They're interesting, like the way they
I love you, Steve.
function.
It's almost like Game of Thrones taken to 1,000 with the level of like political discord that's going on between all these families, and like what like the extents and lengths they're all willing to do, and cut back alley deals, and even go through the whole rigmarole and burning through money of doing all the ceremonial shit, putting an adoptive through all everything they need to do, even though you're already going to accept them.
Oh, that's what I want to happen now, and I don't know how likely it's gonna happen. I want Thrawn to get in trouble with something where the penalty is death, and he defends himself in trial by combat.
Amazing. Oh my God. I would want that more than anything now. I wasn't even thinking about it, but now I really want to see that.
Well, after merit adoptive, you go up to trial born. So I am curious to see what's the trial. What's going on now, guys? Is this like the Jedi trials?
I want these assholes to stab him in the back, frame him for something. He's up there about to get like executed. He's like, I demand trial by combat. He's like, I'm gonna defend myself, and he just like whoops this dude's ass because he's gonna whoop anyone's ass.
I wonder, speaking of combat, there was that one bit before Arlani and Thrawn had their little fight in the dojo where Arlani is talking about, I want to see if you can analyze my fighting style, and Thrawn hesitates, and he's just like, do you anticipate that we're going to fight each other in the future?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
And I'm wondering if that was foreshadowing for later on in the book. Or
I want to get my hopes up now, because last time you foreshadowed a fight, it didn't happen.
Well,
That's true. I'm very disappointed that didn't happen. It really
Everything was
broke my
pointing
heart.
to the two of them fighting that book too.
And then it was just so anticlimactic. Like, nope, it's over. No
And
fight.
then he just disappears, is never heard of again in anything. So real Avros might still be out there. I don't know.
Fine, someone else should propose that the fight's going to happen, because I clearly can't predict fights for shit. So,
So I'm gonna go off with Steve.
That's how I was reading it also. Like,
I read it, but I didn't want it to happen. He can fight someone else. I don't know.
I don't want the two of them to fight like this psychopath Steve who only sees violence and everything.
like, not necessarily
I would like
even
another
like
to the art gallery.
not even necessarily like a fist fight, but like maybe they might be in opposition to each other, or maybe they might both have like the same objective, but like as rivals, I guess, not even as like bitter enemies.
I'd like to see my dude Thrawn just dominate all of them.
I mean, he would, but I feel like our Alani, if we're putting them down in like spectrums of intelligence and battle situational awareness, I'd give her a number 2 after
I
Thrawn.
do want to see, because Timothy Zahn has said the only thing that can beat Thrawn is stuff that he can't predict or prepare for.
Hmm.
I want to see if there's like some like Deus Ex Machina, like shit that just comes out of nowhere in this book that like fucks him up at one point. He has to like recover from that and try and counter it. Because they said this is the first series since the original one in the 90s where he was given the trilogy. So he is writing this like a trilogy. So I want to see if there's like something at the end of this first book like just happens that he was not able to prepare for, not able to predict, and then we just end on like a solemn cliffhanger. But that would probably actually happen in book 2 because Star Wars likes to do that in the middle stuff.
True.
Are you saying he's not going to expect Arlani to betray him?
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. This is gonna be completely unexpected. Like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm
She
actually
would be
the
the one, though.
chameleon from Spider-Man and rip off her mask and just like stab him in the throat.
Awful.
I mean, well,
Yeah, we're all a little bloodthirsty today, I think.
Would you expect the chameleon from Spider-Man to show up in the Chiss Ascendancy?
I absolutely would not
Yeah.
expect that to happen.
Oh,
It's like, oh shit, it's Superman. I wasn't prepared for this. See, Thrawn has to expect everything.
fair.
Also, let's say, if he's really that smart, nothing should be unpredictable to him.
I mean, okay, fair, but Arlani during that dojo scene, she did get in a couple strikes.
I'm pretty sure he let her.
Yeah, I think so.
I
It
think
was a
so
cute
too.
scene.
The man was on a date.
Yeah,
Neither of them
he's
knew
like,
it was a date, but it was a date.
It was absolutely a date.
Just
Although
kinda hoping we're gonna
everyone
kiss.
who has read Thrawn Treason knows that Eli Vanto x Aralani is the OTP.
what does that mean?
Yeah, what does OTP mean?
Steve explained, you're a weeb.
Thanks for volunteering me that. One true pairing, so like it's what you ship in fiction.
This is just awkward silence, Steve.
Oh,
Way
Yeah,
to go.
Colin, you look so
You told
Way
me
to
to
go,
explain it.
Steve.
I explained it.
Just how mean Colin is. Well, excuse me, Eli Vanto.
You told me to explain it, and I did what I was
That's
told.
why I get to be the host of the show. I get to just make everyone answer my questions for me.
Dance, puppets, dance.
That's right. I need more Thrawn in my life.
Don't we all?
All right. Speaking of more Thrawn, what's the next set of chapters we're going to?
Yeah, what are we at?
9 to 16.
And that'll be in 2 weeks, so that would be October 13th.
Yes, it is.
Time is flying.
Yep. And then our final meeting against Thrawn is, hold on,
Was that?
the same week of Halloween.
It's 10/27.
Yeah, it's the same week of Halloween. Ooh.
Sorry, what chapter did we say we were going to?
9 to 16. I'll put it in the Discord too. And in the description of this
Right.
video, but only Sierra watches the videos.
Pretty pumped for this next installment of Cut
My
the
son
Sith.
watched it too.
Was he the one
He
that
wants to talk to
commented on it?
Ryan because he sees the picture of the dead body.
I mean, yeah, he's
Oh,
your
get
kid,
out.
so it's up to you if you want to put your child on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, not today.
Recommend no.
I mean, he can talk when we turn the recording off if you want. But I don't even. Is Ryan even still here?
Nah, he's dead.
Nah. Ryan is
like
still
God.
forward.
He is always here. He is always listening.
I know everything, your every move before you make it.
That's very true. Ryan's like Thrawn.
Santa and Thrawn.
Hey, just because I haven't checked, what's our next book after Thrawn?
Isn't it Claudia Gray?
Lost Stars,
Hold on,
please.
I got the whole thing at the beginning.
Jonas always asking for the next book.
Okay.
All the time.
So after Thrawn, we're doing the Dr. Aphra audiobook, but that's
Oh,
going to be
sweet.
one meeting, like the Vader comic was. It's just going to be the one meeting. After that, the next book is Lost Stars by Claudia Gray, which would be November 24th.
Very good.
So the Dr. Aphra audiobook is November 10th, and the first Yep, the first 9 chapters of Lost Stars is November 24th.
And I still have a free credit from Audible, and
So use it
that's
on
going
Doctor
right to
after,
that.
because that
Sierra, thank you for calling me out. I am always asking what's next, even though I've looked at the list a bajillion times at this point.
yeah, you better
alright,
ship
it's
my
like
order free of
planned.
charge. Sorry, Movement Watch has finally got back to me.
Nice.
I don't think I told everyone about this. I ordered a pair of sunglasses from Movement Watches. They sent me it. I opened the package, right? They gave me everything except the sunglasses. So I opened the sunglass case, and there's just the cloth to wipe the lenses in there, and there's no sunglasses.
Oh my
Damn.
God.
So
Hey,
Guys,
I've been emailing them all day because they take like 4 hours to respond. So I've emailed them like 3 times.
anyone amped for the presidential debate at 9? I'm gonna like murder myself.
Oh no, I'm not
Watching
brave
that
enough for
shit.
politics.
I'm going to suffer through it and probably not sleep tonight.
Hold on.
You want to end the recording?
No, not that. I'm gonna just show you all my political views right now.
Oh Jesus.
Is it Obi-Wan saying
my
I'm not brave
God.
enough
Share
for
screen.
politics?
I
Share
changed my
screen.
name.
He's not
Okay.
into politics.
Thrawn
We
2020,
discussed
there we
this
go.
already.
Thrawn 2020.
That's right, baby.
I would take that. I would take a Thrawn and Aralani ticket.
Now, if I was to write
I was
in
assuming it would be Thrawn
Thrawn,
and Vanto, but
would I have to write the full name? Mithran New Ryodo, or would they have to like
that's going to be a pain in the ass to put on bumper stickers.
Damn it though, Steve, I am glad you brought that up because now it's just sticking in my head. Where the hell's the Odo come from?
Not sure.
Find out.
Who knows?
Dude, we better find out.
Hopefully.
Anyone got anything else to say about the book?
No, fuck the Nick Cardoon, I guess.
Anyone
That's
got anything
true.
else to say about the fact that we're watching the 4th episode of Mandalorian and talking about that on
I will
Friday?
be there this Friday.
I'll be
God
there
willing.
this Friday.
Anybody want to talk about the Halloween party that Alex is hosting that no one watching this video is invited to? It's only for the select group.
What,
Yeah, I was
like a
gonna
bunch
say.
of random
Except for
people
Steve.
showing-
I mean, Sierra's the only one that watches the video, and she's going to be at the party, so
Yeah. Well, I don't
Steve's
know.
invited.
Are there any
Not part
updates?
of the Ascendancy.
I'm invited. The
Oh,
logistics
show up.
just aren't in my favor. So
Yeah, your just state is banned from my state, so it makes things hard.
it's a shame. Damn shame.
You're driving in, it doesn't matter. No one's gonna like.
Yeah, they don't get anyone at the borders to stop you. They just they won't know.
They'll see my plates.
They will.
Listen, you're a rebel, and we love you for it.
Just do what they do, what those people do when they don't want to pay tolls, and they just cover the plate so like the camera can't see it.
Hmm. I have Easy
Just a piece
Pass.
of cardboard. Feel ya.
Ryan, what you looking forward to?
Hey,
I thought I told you what that was.
Yeah. Are you gonna be here Friday?
Am I always here Friday? Yes.
Good.
Good.
I've already watched the entire season already.
Me too.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
There's not much to do during work.
I
You
feel
didn't
you
hear
on
me.
that.
You didn't hear me say that for anyone who's watching out there.
Oh, I envy you guys.
Hear you say what? I didn't hear you say anything.
I gotta
Exactly.
end this video before Yona says something about work that gets us
I
fired.
won't say anything about work.
I feel like if you say something, me and Sierra will both get in trouble too.
and I'll walk away.
Oh, that'd be great.
I'd be so mad. We'd have to join our own Chiss Ascendancy. You know what? I would challenge him to trial by combat, and I would get Thrawn
We
to
don't
fight in
even
my
know if
place.
that's a thing the Ascendancy does yet.
that's true.
Listen, I've already fanficked it in my head. Steve, if there's
Yeah.
one thing Star Wars fans like, it's making up their own stories and thinking that they're fact.
You got me there.
True.
Or
If there's
anything.
one other thing that Star Wars fans do, it's disagree with other Star Wars fans.
Star Wars fans hate Star Wars fans. That's why I don't like any of you.
God damn right.
Thanks.
Except Sierra, because she's bought me food a couple times, so that puts her up to
You
a merit
amiibo.
adoptive.
I bought you amiibos, Colin.
Steve is
You hear
also a
that?
merit adoptive. Alex has to be
Stop
cousin.
ranking us.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I feel like that thought should be automatic for me.
Ryan's the highest rank because he takes me to Disney World.
This is true.
is the way.
And then Yona's just around.
I'm around.
I'm around.
Yona's the pathfinder I paid to like walk in the opposite direction of me.
Lead everyone the wrong direction.
Also, Colin, tell us about all the merchandise you bought from Star
Do you want me
Wars.
to? Because I will.
Yes.
Steve, do you want to talk about all your merchandise you bought too?
All 2 things that I bought. Yes, I will talk about that. Yeah.
Me first, Steven.
Okay, Colin.
Okay, so I was lucky enough to get the Darth Maul lightsaber hilt. Not everyone was lucky enough to get that hilt, but I was.
I'm included in that not lucky enough bunch.
I also got the belt clip to hold it on, so yes, anytime you see me out and about with jeans on, I'm going to have my lightsaber on me. And I also got the stand. And, ooh, I'm so excited because I can just buy him in Disney World because Ryan's taking me to Disney World like he always does. But it's less things I have to bring home from Disney.
I was actually pinning you to get the robes.
Oh, so they sold out of my size.
Mm.
They only had like small, medium, or like 2X and up. They didn't have like large or XL.
Hey, they sold out of those quick.
Yeah, so because I wanted the robe, the tunic, and the belt, and they sold out a large XL in those, in all 3 of those, and the other sizes like small, medium, 2X, 3X, they were all still there. So I was like,
were you gonna get light or dark?
Steve.
That's a silly question. He was going to get Ray's.
I mean, first off, one, I was obviously gonna get dark, but yes, I'm pretty sure the light one was just Ray's outfit. It had Ray's armbands and stuff.
No, they had like the Jedi tunics as well.
Oh yeah, but come on, Steve. Of course, I was gonna get the dark one.
I got. Am I allowed to talk about what I got now, or are you still going through your list?
I mean, I guess your list is cooler than mine, so sure. That's why I said second.
I didn't really get too much, honestly. I opted not to get any of the clothes or the belts. The belt I was really tempted to get, but I wound up getting one of the blades, and I got the Asajj Ventress lightsaber hilt, and I'm pretty pumped about that.
He only got one of them for some reason, because she has 2.
I only got one of them because I'm not made out of money, so yeah, that's why I only got one.
Listen, Steven, that's why God created credit cards. And bankruptcy.
Yeah. If ever there's a year to get bankrupt, 2020 is that year, I guess. So.
But yeah, I felt the belt too. I like to be able to try on belts to see like how I like the fit of them. So I'm definitely gonna get. I'm definitely doing it in Disney World because I want the entire outfit. I'm gonna get the robe, the tunic, and the belt, and I'm gonna look sexy.
Does the robe have sleeves? I couldn't really tell from the picture. It just looked kind of like a poncho.
They also announced the winner of the Legacy lightsaber voting.
Is it
I'm
Cal?
assuming it's Cal because
I
there were
hope to God it's Cal.
6 options and Cal had 44% of the vote, and like the second one had 13%. So I don't know if anyone made a comeback against that.
I kind of figured.
And his was the one I wanted the least because, not for nothing about Cal, that whole game was about customization. So it's like, I don't really have a strong affinity towards a lightsaber he had because I customized my lightsaber every time I got.
I was a huge fan of the emitter for Cal's saber, and I kept the blue because I thought it looked really good, honestly. So.
I voted for Lord Corvax because I like unique looking ones.
Have you played Vader Immortal?
Yes.
I don't know. So you have VR? I didn't know if you did.
My brother does.
I have it on my PlayStation, and I haven't started it yet. Is it fun?
Well, it's VR, so I mean, there's a limit.
That's very true. I didn't get the so I was talking to Steve. Steve did tell me that there was like a difference because Anakin's saber was one that you could vote for, but they have an Anakin saber there, but it's listed as Ray's. So I was like, Steve, what's the difference? And Steve explained it.
Yeah, I did.
Explained it.
Okay, thank you. So it's the episode 2 saber. I guess the main difference is that there's a black strip around the switch rather than in episode 3 and onward where it's just silver metal. So that's the difference.
Colin, can we wrap this up?
Yeah, we can
My
wrap
son
it up.
keeps trying to come in the room.
I mean, he can come in the room, but yeah, we'll wrap it up. Hold on.
Had
All
enough
right.
with him. He doesn't want to do his homework. I'm good.
Sierra, do you want to say the outro? Do you want to say the outro?
You're talking to me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
we're
talking to you.
No.
Are you sure?
No.
I can send you in a text message.
I was gonna say, if you had provided me in advance, I would do the outro, but I'm
Yeah. Let
All
me
you,
know in
Colin.
advance. God damn it.
Yona, please. You're in punishment until you show up to Mando. All right, so that does it for another episode of Cut the Sith Reading Club. Join us in 2 weeks as we discuss chapters 9 to 16 of Thrawn Ascendancy Chaos Rising by Timothy Zahn. Make sure to like the channel, subscribe to the channel, comment on the video below, hit the notification bell, and follow us at twitter.com/cutthesith, instagram.com/cutthesith, and be able to join our Discord and join all the discussion with us about all things Star Wars and anything else you want to talk about, really. And all the links to that will be in the description below. May the Force be with you. I don't know if the Chiss have a saying or anything.